Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my video series, Let's Build with Mods. This is part 6, and I've got quite a bit of this built by now. Now, a lot of it's outside, so I wanted to use a clear day shell and show you so that you could see it a little better. But I've discovered by using these that they only last about a minute, minute and a half, and then I get a radiation storm, a rad storm. So you're going to see that a couple of times here, but I'm still going to try to make it as clear as I can so you can see everything I've gotten done so far. Alright, this is how I ended up doing the glass tubes. To get them to match up, I just had to put that quarter floorboard in there with some lights. That was pretty neat. Now I'm building a greenhouse slash warehouse. And I'm using the roofs from the Snap and Build, and I've gotten them up one tier higher on the second story. But I actually want to go a little higher. So I want to show you this technique that I figured out how to make them snap on top of one another one more tier higher. I'm going to show you real quick that they'll only snap to the walls, these roof parts. They won't really snap to anything else. And since there's no wall there, I can't get it to snap. So normally I would have to put these flat boards in to fill up the gap, and that would be as high as I would be able to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trick the game. And I'm going to take this little piece here and add it in. And it comes down one story, and then I'm going to slip a wall in. Now we'll take that piece back out, slip a second wall in, and now the roof will think there's a wall there and it should snap. And then we'll have a third story with the same roof style. And it does. It works excellent. So I just really wanted to show this one off. It was pretty cool how I was able to figure this out. Actually, I just kind of stumbled on it real quick, so it didn't take a lot of calculating. You know, if I'm making it sound like it was something only a genius would, well, I am a genius. So anyways, just showing you here. Now, as you can see, I've got a rad storm already, so I'm a little bit upset. I'm going to run back, fire off another clear day shell so we can continue. And trust me, before this segment's over with, we will see that rad storm again. Well, now I'm just going to be able to complete this ceiling up here however I want, or excuse me, this roof. And I can make this a 3-story building now instead of a 2-story. And you know, you could go bigger and go higher with this using that same technique. Really, you could probably make a pretty cool, like, Aztec pyramid thing or something. I don't know, I was kind of thinking about that a little bit while I was building this. Of course, you wouldn't use the ones with the windows. And you could use in some of the stairs they got in the foundations category. Yeah, I think you could make a pretty good, you know, Aztec pyramid. Alright, well, we'll just throw a couple more of these up so you get the general idea. Should have just put those back in the workshop. I don't need them. They're just going to be in the way. And I'm just kind of trying to decide how I want to do it. Window, blank, window, no window on the corners, then window. You know, it's what's really neat about this is you could just really get creative and build it the way you want. No windows, windows in every one, every other one, however. Okay, and make sure we got the right pieces in. And we'll drop a piece over here just before we finish up. Well, one quick thing, I do notice that this corner piece isn't fitting correct. And then I realized, well, I got the wrong one in there. From this perspective, it looked like the right piece, so we'll drop the right one in real quick. Nice. Okay, well, I'm going to blast off another clear day shell. And you know, once again, within a short amount of time, we'll have a radiation storm again. But I wanted to kind of show you what I've got set up here now. I've got the warehouse completed, I've got the greenhouse completed, I've got my doors in, I've even got the electrical in. And I just want to kind of show you how with the conduit section, you can really make some cool stuff. You can actually make switches that work inside and out. And there you go, we can open it from the inside. I learned a couple of things. I haven't messed with the conduits too much. And I did learn a couple of things. You can get like the elbows and corners to blend inside of a pre-existing line. And I got the lights all up and everything wired in. I even got the crops dropped in, so that looks pretty good. Now this is how I did it. This is my power supply, and I brought it to a little node, which in turn goes into that first switch. Now I also made it go outside and go into that switch. So each switch has its own power. Then the power comes out, goes up this conduit, and if you see through the window, the same thing is happening on the outside. And you can see right there, that elbow blends right into the line. There you go, you can see that line going up. Now, if both powers are on, you cannot make the door close. One has to be off. Okay, and then for the power, I just ran it up to this conduit. And I ran it right along the wall. And right here, it 45s and goes up. So it's right there beside where that conduit is that hooks to the roll-up door. And now you can see the conduit comes up through the floor. Kind of curved it around a little bit because I wanted it to be in the center, because that's where my electrical node is at. Is there kind of in the center. See, it could have went a little bit more, but it's a lot better than if I would have just ran it straight out there. Now what I'm going to do is kind of give you just a quick look of how I place the electrical conduits. Now remember, you can put electrical conduits to anything or anything they'll stick to that will snap, and you can move the wires through the walls. And in this fashion, I'm able to actually still hide my wires you know, fairly decent. Sometimes they do stick out a little bit, but overall they're hid out and you don't see them. Now here on this side, I'm going to pull every wall out so you can kind of see how I ran it. And it's basically a carbon copy of that all the way around. Every other board is pulled out. The reason I went every other board is so I didn't have a lot of wire sticking out below the rafters. I could have went up to 3 boards, but I had a pretty good sag of wire, and I just decided to stick with every other one. Okay, now for my little work area. Or this is where I'm going to put containers and keep my precious items. There's my power, goes into that conduit, splits up, goes into the 2 switches. So once again, I can operate the power from either switch. As you can see, it just went right straight up, and the other one came in and blended into that pipe or that conduit. And there's quite a few choices in the conduit section, so I'm quite excited to have worked with that. It was fun. I will use that a lot in my builds. And both switches are on, so we'll turn one off. There you go, and then we'll turn it on with this one. Now I have a nice little area where I can keep my cool weapons and stuff as I find them, because it's right beside the workstation. Okay, now what we've done is, for this last segment, is I've moved out to where the pier was at, because I wanted to do something old, run down, using mostly vanilla items. And so I'm going to build like a little bait and tackle shop slash restaurant. Now, to show you how I got the front of these, because the fronts of those wooden deals I used there are actually pretty cool, but the sides kind of was a little lacking, and I want to use two sides. So I decided to put these boards up, and I'm just using the hold A exploit, whatever we want to call it. And that way I can kind of put this wall height-wise exactly where I want it, and you know, just get it in there nice and tight to cover over a part that I don't like. And I'll mess with that here for a minute. Just remember, once you set it down, and you don't like it, you have to actually take it out individually, because you would actually pick this whole build up if you tried to grab it again. And I'm okay with that. I guess that isn't too bad. And on these here, I did use the carpet to put the first container in that's in the post. But these ones here, I just kind of actually set in by hand. I didn't really need the carpet. And you know, I could have used them, but they get extremely close on their own. Alright, well, let's keep messing with it here a little bit. Alright, there you go. Yeah, you can see it's pretty close all by itself. I'm thinking, you know, I'll put a bar or something integrated into one of those. I'll put some like the store on this end over here. Alright, here's Mishka. Hi puppy, what's up? Well, this is kind of what I thought it would look like. Well, it is what it looks like finished. Now, I don't have, you know, a lot of prosthetics in, the things that would be on the shelves, the drinks, etc. But I do got a lot of signage up and a few clutter around. I actually haven't went and put the vendor station in yet, but for the next part you'll see that it'll be on there. Got a little cook station here, integrated it into the wall so you don't see the pipes. Yeah, see how I'm hung up right there? For some reason, when you're building with these mods, every now and then in certain places you will experience these little like invisible barriers. And there's actually 2 or 3 of them here in this build, but you got to see one firsthand right there. And it looks real good. A nice little place the settlers can come, buy a little bait for their fishing, maybe get a little seafood if the day wasn't a productive day, but just, you know, have a nice relaxing time. Alright, for this last segment, I thought we'd take another look at my bait and tackle shop in the daylight. And I do have the vending station inserted into the cabinet. There's the vendor, and we're getting a good look at the completed project here. It looks super great. I'm really happy with this. Looks very authentic. Alright everybody, well that about wraps it up for part 6 of Let's Build with Mods. I appreciate you spending your valuable time with me. If you're looking forward to seeing more of these videos as they come out, reach down there, hit that subscribe button. Well, until next time everybody, stay safe.